We are indeed talking New York Jets. Okay, we got the full trio. How sweet it is. The full trio was here yesterday. We are back like we never left today. I'm telling you, man, we are here. We are providing New York Jets content, and I can't lie. Darren Muji is providing some New York Jets content because the Jets they went a picking last night. All right, not one, not two, but three New York Jets draft picks. Come on, this is crazy. So I just want to go around the horn real quick. How are we feeling? How we living? Day one, night one. Michael, talk to me. Talk to me. How you doing?
I think, as a group and I think as Jet fans, my big takeaway is the Jets are better today than they were yesterday, like before the draft. Like no matter what my opinion is on each individual pick, our team is better today. So in that regard, obviously I give my credit to Muji. There was obviously some things that maybe I thought were going to go different, but overall with those 3 first-round picks, with the holes we have, those to me are three impactful players that are coming in day one. They're going to impact our team in this upcoming 2026 season, and they're all going to be starters. So to me, I'm happy with it. Like I said, I think we got better as a team. So even though I had complaints last night before the Omar Cooper one, I have no complaints as of right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Michael. I'm glad you said that because literally on paper, this team is automatically better. And that's what we wanted. And that's what you hope to do automatically through the draft as well. Of course, I have some opinions and things went a little differently than I maybe foresaw them. Not saying they were bad moves whatsoever, just interesting none the least. But I'm excited. I have the light in my eyes is back. We have hope again. But yeah, I feel good today. Woody, I'm sure you feel good.
I knew that I would. You know what I'm talking about? I can't lie. Shout out to our guy, Jet News Rory in the building. Come on now. I was definitely devastated. He was at the Knicks game. I was watching the Knicks. So I actually missed the Sadiq pick. So really what happened was I seen the Knicks went up. Jalen Brunson had an and one. I'm out here. I'm shouting. Then the Knicks lose the lead. They lose the game. They lose my everything. And my phone is blowing up. What the fuck? Yo, this is the worst pick I ever seen. Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, damn, what random player did they get right now? And I said to my high school group chat, yo, who did they pick up? They said some tight end. I was like, yo, they got Kenson. Yo, do you guys even know what you're talking about? Do you know some tight end? Like, they didn't just draft Jeremy Ruckert again. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Oh my God. I was hyped as anything. They did get an elite tight end, somebody who I believe will be a top 10 tight end in this league during his rookie contract. Like that, we should have been doing car. I was like, yo, apologize for all the battery y'all use on my phone, texting me in caps, talking about some tight end. I would, but anyway, how I felt overall. I don't know how you can look at last night and not call it like an A or A minus at least, but I don't understand. Every mock draft had us going with some sort of edge and some sort of receiver. That's exactly what happened. As a matter of fact, Peter Schrager, who's always super accurate, his exact call was Bailey at 2 and Cooper at 16. We have Bailey, we have Cooper, and we got Kenyon Sydney. Like, how are we not? Like, there's no argument that can be made. And I got the reputation of negative, pessimistic Jets fan, all that type of stuff. Like, I'm here to tell you, like, AG still don't have my respect. But the most pessimistic of Jets fans, how can you look at the haul yesterday and not be hyped? And what did we, give up to, go back into the first round? 179. Okay, cool. We still got 44. Oh, I'm about to have a heart attack right now on screen. Have a heart attack because I don't understand how you can be negative about this draft. Am I bugging?
No, not at all. Like, and it's you're typed at the most random times, I should say. And then going back to like group chat, people were spoiling the picks for me. I'm trying to watch it live, and people were putting in my chat who they picked up. I'm like, bro, you just like I didn't check it like right before the Jets picks, but every other pick, it's like they had it in advance. I'm like, please stop spoiling it for me. I'm trying to like, be in the moment too. Cause like for example, Ty Simpson, that was a crazy thing to do, especially for like the Rams and stuff like that. But again, I muted it right before the Jets pick. So
because I was at practice, I had it was the sequence of Mets were up 7-3, gave up a grand slam to make it 7-7. Knicks blew it, and then the Jets drafted Sadiq, and obviously I wanted a receiver at 16. I wanted a receiver at 16. I knew Lemon was on the board. That's where my head was. So obviously I wasn't so thrilled about the 16 pick, but all my coaches and teammates were clowning me right away. So then I was like, and they wouldn't tell me who we took. So like you said, I thought we took some random, like some complete whiff. Like I don't even know who we would have took at 16. But going back to what you said, Woody, like every mock draft had us taking, like you said, some type of edge and receiver at 2 and 16. We walked away with one of the best edge rushers in the draft. One, in my opinion, top 5 receiver in the draft. And we have a freak athlete tight end who, like you said, I think can turn out to be a top 10 tight end. So as a Jet fan, we obviously are very critical of AG at times, critical of the team. We're all up here telling you, like, there is some hope in this thing, but obviously it's the Jets, so I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. But coming away from the draft, we had 3 first-round picks. I think Muji hit a home run here.
mm-hmm.
No argument here. We got a couple questions, actually. We got one on IG, which unfortunately I can't put up on the screen. And then we got one on YouTube. So I'm gonna cover the IG one first. So our guy, shout out Doug Colorado. Are we still drafting a QB? And who may that be? First thing I'll say with that is I'm a little nervous by the wording of that question, because are we still, like, you was expecting a QB yesterday? No, please, I hope not. All right. Because according, for me, I feel like everything in terms of quarterback is still on schedule. I was not trying to hear no name last night. I was so hyped when, like Abby said, Ty Simpson to the Rams, they can hold that. And in terms of quarterback, the names that we keep hearing, Nuss, Cole Payton, what's his dude's name? Carson Beck, which would kind of make me upset, especially since they're trying to say that he's going a little bit earlier. He is old as fuck, but I'm going a little bit earlier. So yeah, like I'm thinking, 4th round earliest. Like, come on now, like that's still we on schedule, Doug. What do y'all think about that? Michael, we'll start with you.
I mean, my preference of quarterback, like I said, we've talked about this all offseason. One of the weakest quarterback drafts, in my opinion, outside of Mendoza. I'm a diehard Bama fan, so I would usually support the Bama quarterbacks. I do think Ty Simpson was a Heisman favorite before he had the whole disc issue in his back. Mm-hmm. But as we know, with those injuries, they do linger. So I don't know how well he's going to work out. So I'm happy that I didn't hear any quarterback for the Jets. I better not hear a quarterback today at 44. Like I said, this draft's weak, in my opinion. I think 4th round might even be a stretch. I'm thinking 5th round at the earliest, maybe. And the only 2 quarterbacks that I would even consider taking as the Jets are Nussmeier from LSU, and I know you guys probably aren't the biggest fan of it, but I think Carson Beck. If you're going to take the quarterback, Carson Beck, okay, you can say what you want about him. He's got the most experience, okay? I know he hasn't maybe, he is a winner too, okay? I think he had like a total of 8 losses in the whole career, The dude wins, all right? I know he didn't win the Natty, but he's had the experience. He's been on the national stage. He is old, he is up there in age, so that's something. But if you're going to take a risk on a quarterback in the 5th round, if that's what they want to do, Nussmeier or Carson Beck. Carson Beck's not my first preference either. Before I get hate comments about being a Carson Beck fan, I would prefer Nussmeier. But if he's off the board and we want a quarterback this year, Carson Beck. No Diego Pavia. That's all I care about.
Hell no to Diego Pavia. Wait, before I get into my opinion and my take here, I think because of, and correct me if I'm wrong, I just want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. We lost a 5th round pick because of the trade yesterday, correct?
Yes.
I don't think we have a 5th rounder. Okay. So now we're looking at 7th round, potentially for quarterback. So now you're looking at taking a quarterback either in the 4th round or in the 7th round. I said this earlier this week. Wasn't a popular take, but I could see them taking a quarterback. Is it my favorite option with pick 44? Absolutely not. And looking at who's still on the board, there is a lot of good defensive players on the board. And right now, I really feel like they should go cornerback, in my opinion, based on who's left. I would understand it, though, if you wanted to take a swing on a quarterback. I just don't feel like it's a need right now, and it's still a big stretch. And like I said, I've been a fan of Nussmeier the whole time. I do like Drew Allar, so I think, again, the quarterback selection can wait. I do see why they would maybe want to swing in the 4th round, but I'm just hoping they hold off. I'm using a lot of baseball terms for football, but I'm hold off on that pitch right now.
I hear you there. Let's get to our other question before we go into our report cards. Shout out again, our guy, Jet News, Rory, my man, who was at the Knicks game. Do y'all trust AD Mitchell as wide receiver 3 next to Cooper and Garrett Wilson? Let me be the first one to say I take this question as disrespect, actually. I do. The real question is, do I trust Cooper as wide receiver 3 to my guy AD and Garrett Wilson? Come on now. And the answer to that question is I'm not sure. We're gonna have to see with Cooper. We're gonna have to see. But the way that I am looking at things right now, Garrett's on one side, AD's on the other side, and we got Cooper in the slot, right, which is where he was in college for the entirety of the 2025 season. And that's what it is. So as a trio, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not here to number, the guys. I think, we got our outsides, we got our slot. We know if it is numbered, Garrett's one. But AD is a very, very talented receiver. I do trust him. I think when he was, that semi-wide receiver 1 and they had quarterbacks that can throw the football, which was really just Tyrod Taylor, you saw against the Falcons what he can do. Now we talking about Garrett's on the field, Sadiq is on the field, Cooper's on the field. I can't. That's what I'm saying. I really don't know how even the most pessimistic Jet fan can be like, oh, this, we stink right now. I'm excited to see what AD can do now that he was the number 1 on the Falcons. I mean, against the Falcons. He put up over 100 yards, had that great TD. Now everyone's focusing on Garrett. I'm sure they're going to be nervous about that 6'3" beast in Sadiq. And he kind of left over. I feel like he's about to be eating right now. So I accept the apology you didn't give for the way that this question was worded. But AD, I'm hyped to see what he can do. Abby, am I bugging?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And according to John Gruden yesterday, apparently Garrett Wilson's not wide receiver 1. Don't get me started on that. That pissed me off, quite frankly. But I do kind of like what Indy Jet said right here, and I'm glad you pulled it up, Woody. I see more of it as this scenario right here, that 2A and that 2B. I didn't want to knock AD at all. I just feel like we haven't seen enough, but what we have seen hasn't been piss poor. So there's no reason to think that he wouldn't, over the years, develop and get better. And again, whole new coaching staff here. And it was a little bit of a weird year for him last year. I mean, you're in the trade, then you're firing coaches, new people are coming in, a lot going on and a lot of chaos. So hopefully with some more stability, we're going to see a lot more of what he can do.
Michael.
I'm in the same boat. I mean, I don't think a lot of Jet fans are on the same opinion with me, but like I said with Geno Smith, I didn't guarantee touchdowns, but I could guarantee you the ball will be slinging next year. And I don't know if you guys saw the practice clips already of that. He had a nice deep post to Garrett, and then he had a deep post to AD. And that is the one thing about Geno that you cannot discredit is when it comes to long, deep passes, he has great accuracy. He throws a beautiful pass. So I'm very excited to see how Geno works, with our receiver core. And like you guys said, I don't look at it as receiver 1, 2, 3. I don't even want to get started on Gruden's comment. It's just blasphemy, okay? Like, whatever. But A.D. Mitchell, you know, everyone knows his whole story. You know, clearly it wasn't just football when he was with the Colts. Like, there was some mental stuff going on, lack of confidence. You got a whole fan base coming from you with that whole fumble thing. Then you get a nice switch. You get to come to New York. But as we know, going to New York's not the easiest, you know, big city, all this stuff. So, you know, he didn't even get a full season to adapt to the whole team. Like you said, we have a whole new staff coming in. So I'm very excited to see him basically year 2, but basically year 1, because now he's going to have at least a stable quarterback. And you give him a full offseason next to Garrett Wilson. I think Cooper's great in the slot. I think Cooper's got elite hands, which I think will benefit our team a lot. And like you said, defenses are going to have to worry about Sadiq now, which, you know, we could scheme him up to sometimes, you know, you might have Sadiq out there in the slot too. So that completely takes pressure off. You know, teams are still going to be shadowing Garrett because, you know, Garrett is a receiver 1. I don't care what anyone else says. But like Woody said, I think this actually sets up the path for A.D. Mitchell to completely eat the season. So I'm very excited to see how they all work together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to our guy, Doug Colorado, responded. He said his pick is Drew Allar, pick 140, round 4, right? Pick 140. Let's go. We need to develop a QB at some point, whether it's this draft or next year's draft. How about both? All right. You know, at 140, you want to draft a QB. I'm cool with LR. I'm cool with every name that was said, besides when Michael said that blasphemous name, Carson. But we can just pick someone at 140, and it's all good. But speaking about all good, let's go with our report card here. So this was the official report card. All right, we are live on Take Flight Talk YouTube, live on Take Flight Talk Instagram. You will be seeing this image posted after our live stream right now. But this is the official card. All right, we checked this list. We checked it twice. So we'll start, of course, with the first pick that the Jets made, David Bailey. Kind of crazy. The range, actually. This is my first time like looking at it for real. Like, so we got an A from me, James Woody, B+ from Abby, and then Michael pretty much said, "Fuck this dude." C+ with the grade. So I'll go. You know how we're gonna do this? We'll do it in order of who gave the lowest grade first. Like for each of the 3, so that person can say why they give the wrong grade, and then the rest of us can tell them why that person is bugging.
Let's do it.
Okay, so for me, I know C+ is low, but I don't want it to seem like, oh, David Bailey's some horrible player, all this stuff. But the reason I give it a C+ is because I do think Arvell Reese is generational. I don't think David Bailey's generational. And when you look at this draft, I do think it's a weaker class, but outside of Mendoza, that first pick outside of the quarterback, you are basically looking for a generational / franchise player, in my opinion. And I just don't. Now, for the benefit of the Jets, I hope this gets clipped in a couple of years and David Bailey's tearing it up. You know, I hope I get proven wrong. And I know David Bailey was great last year. I think he had 14.5 sacks. But the way I look at it for what the Jets need is, one, Arvell Reese could be expanded on more. We could have used him more as an edge, a linebacker. So I think he would have been more beneficial for our defense this upcoming season. And second, Arvell Reese plays more on the field than David Bailey. So if we're talking in terms of snap count, Arvell Reese is going to give you more production, in my opinion, year 1 than David Bailey is. Now, that doesn't mean, like I said, I think David Bailey is going to be good for our defense. But when I watch David Bailey, I see Will McDonald coming out of college when Will McDonald came out of Iowa State. So to me, it's not like you just went out and got a new player. It's like, okay, you're putting someone next to Will McDonald who reminds me of Will McDonald. So to me, I was kind of shocked by it, but I did know going into the draft it was either Arvell Reese or David Bailey. I don't think it was a horrible pick, but I do think Arvell Reese is going to turn out to be a better player. So that's why I gave it the C+.
And of course, he went to the other New York team. Just so happens that way. Thanks, Indy Jets. Let me just say, because we were originally going to do best pick and worst pick, and I went back and forth all morning. Poor Woody in the chat, like, what the hell? Your things are changing every 2 seconds. So this actually helped me a lot more. So obviously I gave Bailey a B+. Obviously, edge was a huge need in terms of the New York Jets coming off a 14.5 sack season. The only reason I docked him was simply because of his run defense grade, which was, I think he's in the 70th percentile, which is not very good. And you're looking at some of the teams that are just, we're going to face next season, but obviously the same teams that we face every single year in the AFC East. And I'm talking about the Dolphins, I'm talking about the Bills, and of course the Patriots there as well. And Michael, I did also dock this for the same reason you mentioned, is it's kind of scares me that it's just him and Will McDonald. I feel like they're almost like equal, but also Bailey, I feel like has and I said it earlier this morning in my video I posted, that he has the higher floor rather than the higher ceiling. And I think he's a plug and play, ready to go player right now. And that's why I do like him for the New York Jets, and ultimately why I gave him a B+. Solid pick. It's a solid pick and a understandable pick. We need someone to get after the quarterback.
Definitely need someone to get after the quarterback, and I'm feeling that's the best way. You could have just threw me that alley-oop, because in terms of getting after the quarterback, there is no one better than David Bailey. Like, simple as that. There's no one, if you're gonna say another name, that's a projection. It's a projection. But if we're talking about what we have seen, what we know, skill set, production, all of the above, David Bailey is the best. You want to see Josh Allen on his back? David Bailey is the best at getting after the quarterback. So that's where I'm coming from with this pick. Now, Arvell Reese, is he a better athlete? Of course. That's not even a question. Can he be used a variety of ways? Of course. That's not even a question. And trust me, if we had a defensive coach that was creative in any sense of the word, who developed a single player in the NFL, I would be, let's get Reese. I would be a Reese's piece. But instead, we have Aaron Glenn, who made Will McDonald get worse, who made Sauce Gardner get worse, who couldn't inspire Quentin Williams to do anything, who made Quincy Williams look worse. So we got to bring somebody with, and Abby said it again, the higher floor. We got to raise that floor. A.G. Short, he like 5'6". We got to raise that floor. All right. And David Bailey, to me, I don't want to say perfect because it's not perfect. And that's why, it's an A. But I think this is really good. He needs to win games right now or he's gone. And I think this is a pick you make. This is a win now pick, or like a, save my job type pick. Reese, I think he will be fantastic in New York. I can't lie. And the coach is done Harbaugh. If Harbaugh was my coach, I would be like talking about Reese all day. But we got AG, so we need someone who's actually going to produce in the green and white. And I think David Bailey, I'm not going to lie, I got him going for 10 sacks. It's not just him and Will. Osai is actually the better. Like, I'm not going to lie, I would kick McDonald's ass to the bench, and I'm having Osai and Bailey. Osai, he is the run defender. He is the Jermaine Johnson replacement. Jermaine was getting more snaps than Will. Will is a pass rushing specialist. Okay, cool. We'll see you on third down. You know what I'm saying? But, for first and second, Osai is low-key the best one that we need on the field. And then Bailey, I wouldn't say he's not good at it, but it's not something that he was asked to do much until last year. So let Carl Dunbar, my guy, go have a full offseason, right? And we'll see if he's good or not. There's a difference between being bad and just not doing it much. And that's where Bailey, they're not, asking him to do it. He's not going to do it. So give me Osai, give me Bailey on the edge. And then, of course, when it's 3rd and 8, like the one time that's the situation for the defense, then, you can get Bailey and McDonald in there and they can just have a spin move contest and all that stuff. But I think this was really a really good pick because it's a safe pick. It's a high floor pick. You're guaranteed to get after the quarterback. I think he's going to get 10 sacks this season. And I think there's room to improve in his run defense. So I gave it an A. Gave it an A.
I'm going to chime a little more in here because, Woody, I'm glad you mentioned, because I forgot to mention, he is the safe option here. And that's what makes it a good pick as well. He's got a lot of guys to learn from that are experienced veterans as well. And I forgot to chime in also on Dunbar as well. Did you guys see him talking to Bailey during the draft, Dunbar?
Oh, no, I saw that it happened, but I didn't get to listen to the footage.
Oh, I only bring that up because literally Dunbar is just has the most heartwarming personality, and you could tell how hyped he was. And that's what made me, I think, a little more hyped about the pick as well. And that's why I said in my video earlier, I'm going to trust in Carl Dunbar to develop Bailey and utilize him the way that he's supposed to.
100%. I trust. I think I was so happy that we brought him back because in terms of D-line production, I mean, you look when we had the best production since basically I've been a fan, and it's under his years as the D-line coach. So, yeah, like you guys said, I trusted him fully. I mean, my whole thing, too, I know I gave it a C+, but it's not – I'm not saying it's a bad pick. It's just when I think of, was I wanting David Bailey or Arvell Reese in terms of production right away, I do think Arvell Reese is going to be, have more production this upcoming season. But I still hope, and obviously, I want David Bailey to go out, like you just said, go get 10 sacks so that we can pull this clip back up and be like, oh, I don't know what I was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I understand, right? Like what, where people were at and you looking at the board, what the options could have been. But when you put the piece into the puzzle and, you think about Dunbar, you think about the other, people out there, I really think this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? I really think this is going to work well. I think that we are going to look back. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Reese probably might have a better career, with the better – he has a better landing spot, a better, jump pad, right? And, his job is easier because their D-line, Brian Burns is a dog. You know what I'm saying? But I think, we're not going to be upset about, Bailey's career. I really do feel like that. And again, shout out my guy or our guy, Rory with Jet News with this here. I really think it's not a matter of him being bad. It's just, it was not something that he was doing off. They asked him to, they didn't really start asking him to do it until his last year, right? Last year. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and Carl Dunbar is the guy to improve it. Shout out Jets Worldwide. Why my guy Johnny Boy, Boy Green in the building. What up, guys? If y'all seen the NFL post on IG, I seen Boy Green front and center on slide one with David Bailey. So our guys, Lou B. Court Sports with a lot of our friends were featured on that slide one. So nothing but love for our guys and people in Pittsburgh living it up. I'm out here, changing diapers. Michael's out here at practice, talking about not a game practice, but let's hear what you got to say with Kenyon Sadiq. Mr. B plus over there, talk to me.
So originally when this, because like I said, I was in practice, so I was a little late to the Sadiq pick, but there's no denying it. Just you talk about football, you talk about the eye test. He passes the eye test right away. Numbers are there. I think he had 560 yards last year and 8 TDs. He's a complete bulldog. Someone on Twitter described it as you basically got Braylon Allen as a receiver. That's the way he runs. He runs with his head down. He's hard to tackle, which is what you love. To me, I think he ran a 4.39 in the 40. I do see this being utilized more as a receiver because the one we talk about David Bailey with, the knock to him being stopping the run. Well, the knock to Sadiq last year was pass blocking. But also Oregon didn't really ask him to be a, blocking that many times. Like, it's not that he necessarily was bad at it. It's that for the needs of Oregon and the way they wanted to use him, they wanted to use him more as a receiver. So he wasn't put in those situations to be a blocking tight end. So I'm not going to sit here and say he was necessarily bad at it, but I do see the Jets continuing what Oregon did last year and using him more as that receiving tight end / receiver. And then you use someone like Mason Taylor, because I thought Mason Taylor last year was actually pretty good in the run game. I also think Ruckert improved in the run game. So in terms of pass, blocking and everything, I think there's a good chance that we're going to use Sadiq more in the pass game and then use those other two tight ends to be more, run game blockers. So I gave it a B+ because I would have took Lemon here at 16. But as we know later with the Cooper one, we still got a receiver. I think Cooper's got great upside too. So the B+ is I wanted Lemon, but after the Cooper trade, it bounced up a little bit. But I do think Sadiq's freak athlete. I think he's going to go great in this offense. And I mean, everything's there. The size is there. The speed's there. He's got great hands. I'm very excited to see how Frank Reich chooses to use him in this offense and how Geno decides to get him the ball.
Bro, you literally said everything's there. Size, speed, athleticism. He already has a route tree. That's the biggest thing, right? Because the draft is littered with people that are big and fast. But like, can they get open? You know what I'm saying? Can they get open is the key. And Sadiq gets open, right? Like, he's coming into the league with a developed route tree. And that, to me, is what was separating him, from the pack. Like, I've been talking about Sadiq. And then when AG, shout out, Mr. Smokescreen, was talking about, Mason, look out for Mason Taylor this year and all that type of stuff, I was like, damn, I guess, Sadiq's off the table. So when I heard that Kenyon Sadiq was a draft pick, my heart skipped a beat. I was so hyped. But before I even continue my dissertation on the A+ that I've given this man, let's talk to somebody who despises Kenyon Sadiq. This is the worst player in the history of the NFL draft. Give him a B. Let's talk to Abby, all right, about this B that she gave my guy, Kenyon Sadiq.
All right. Hoping you guys can hear me. Everything sound good?
Perfect.
All right. Perfect. All right. It's not that I hate this pick, okay? I want to make that very, very known, all right? Like, my video got a lot of reaction and a lot of negative comments, people saying I didn't know who he was, or, just ridiculous stuff. The only reason I had the reaction is the way that I did is, one, I feel like the tight end room to me wasn't the biggest positional need coming into the draft. Woody, we did an episode, like a month and a half ago, and we said what was our positions of need that we needed to address in the draft, and tight end wasn't on there for both of us, okay? And quite frankly, I just feel like the Jets have not figured out what the F to do with tight ends in a very long time. When's the last time you remember a good tight end for the New York Jets? And I'm not saying, like, I get it, we drafted one so we could hopefully break that curse. And again, Sadiq is what has been, from what I've heard, a generational tight end, okay? We've heard that with guys like Brock Bowers and Warren and things like that. But again, it just wasn't my biggest positional need. And the only reason I also had the same reaction, or the reaction that I did, was Lemon was on the board. And I felt like wide receiver was a perfect place to address that, right at 16. It fell right into our laps. I hated that he ended up going to the Eagles. And I don't know if you saw that debacle of a call. He got a call from, I think, Pittsburgh. And then it was like, no, it's Philly, we're coming in hot. And he's like, what the hell is going on? But he's a good player. Okay. I give it to him. He's a little bit undersized for like a normal traditional tight end. But he's going to stretch the field. We all know that Frank Reich loves tight ends as well. So hopefully he's going to figure out how to utilize him. I will say though, Frank Reich normally likes a traditional sized tight end who knows how to block, and Sadiq, he's not really known for his blocking abilities. Not saying he doesn't have them, but he's more known for being that pass catcher there. So again, that is why I gave it a B. If I hated it, I would have given it an F, or like Woody or Michael with a C+, and then Omar Cooper, Woody had him at a C-. It's just not my favorite pick. And it really, took me by surprise. I only had him in maybe 2 or 3 of my mock drafts. I did not expect the Jets to go this way, but again, adding another playmaker, and then him, and then obviously we selected Cooper with the 30th pick. I think that pairing together made the offense look, again, we talked about at the beginning, better on paper, and I think they kind of go hand in hand with one another. So that is why I gave him a B. I don't hate the pick. I know who he is. He's from Oregon, and trust me, my other co-host would not let me forget this guy because he's a diehard Oregon fan, okay? So that is where I'm at. I don't hate it. I'm not in love with it either. It was just, to me, a little shocking and confusing, I guess.
Got you. Shout out Doug Colorado on IG, man, rocking with us the whole time. He said 4.3 speed and good route running. You better get open. 4.3. That might be a little too generous. I would be more comfortable with saying 4.4, but I mean he is definitely explosive. And again, yeah, coming in with that route tree, I would wholeheartly agree that this, of the 3 picks, was the most surprising. Like David Bailey, we knew 50, we've been talking for weeks now, Bailey or Reese. When they traded up, it was like they most likely traded for a receiver, right? Omar Cooper, that wasn't a surprise. This, I was like, yeah, like you said, Lemon was on the board, and how many mocks, we keep getting Lemon. But I wasn't even I wasn't mad though. And if they felt like this was the best player available, like I can agree with that logic behind that. And I feel like there's a sense, because we have been so bad for so long, I feel like we are always concerned with filling the thousands of holes on the team. But how about we become specialists at something? So there are plenty of teams like the Ravens haven't had a good wide receiver room maybe for the entire time that I've been alive. But they have an identity, and they run the football, they run hard. And for the Lamar Jackson era, Lamar and Mark Andrews was drafted the same year. Mark Andrews, has been a top tight end for a long time, and when he started declining, now they have Isaiah Likely, so it's lessened the blow of not having a true receiver, right? You want to talk about another team like that is the Niners. They have good receivers, but George Kittle is the most reliable pass catcher and has been for most of the Kyle Shanahan era. I got one more for you. The Kansas City Chiefs were cool with letting top 3 wide receiver Tyreek Hill walk. I was like, damn, are they sure? And Travis Kelce and Mecole Hardman won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Tight ends, they can catch. So that's why I wasn't so upset. If they passed on Lemon and they got a running back, obviously that wouldn't have happened. But if they did that, I'm breaking my TV. But they didn't get a receiver, but they got a dynamic receiving tight end. Kenyon Sadiq is the best route runner on the screen right now, besides maybe Michael. It's between Michael and Sadiq. That speaks volumes. So I was super excited. That's why, to me, it's an A+, because you've guaranteed that a dynamic route runner with elite run after catch ability is now on the team. This is not a death sentence for Mason. Mason will still get a lot of snaps. He's the better blocker, to your guys' point. And he has rock solid hands. This is we have a Likely Andrew situation. Between the 20s, it's the black guy. In the red zone, it's the white guy. Identical situation. Come on now. Come on. That's why I gave it an A+. And I guess I'll run the double duty because we said we're gonna finish. We're gonna do the lowest grade first. Man, y'all love y'all some Omar Cooper Jr. This is what I'm gonna say. Omar Cooper Jr. Right? They were saying 16, so I had to look into it. I'm like, damn, not Lemon. Okay, Lemon's gone already. All right, Cooper Jr. Bro, as soon as they said his comp was Deebo Samuel, I was like, oh boy. Like, all right, let me see. Let me look at some tape. The boy, he cannot get open. Every single time they try to sell me on somebody, oh, he big, he's strong. Look at him run after catch. That is word for word verbatim what they said about Malachi Corley. They had this fan base talking about Yak King before Malachi Corley even put the jersey on. And that Cooper, that they saying the same thing. He big, he's strong after the catch. I really don't. I've not seen a strong route tree. I've not seen contested catchability, which is usually what you see when someone can't run routes. It's like at least they can catch contested ball. I'm not seeing it. What I do see is that they hype up his yak, and that can be schemed. He have the best coach in college football. We've seen that. We saw what Indiana just did, Fernando, all that type of stuff. He getting schemed open, like good looks, and now we want to act like he about to. I'm telling you right now, like, and Abby said, like, we don't have a history of developing tight ends, like how we use tight ends. That is true, but sometimes, like, if you're open, you open. What we definitely don't have is an ability to teach someone who can't get open how to get open, because that's exactly what plagued Malachi Corley. That's exactly what plagued Denzel Mims. Just thank the good Lord above that Garrett Wilson just came in with that ability. We didn't have to teach him. He knew it. All right?
Wait, let's go back a second, because Sadiq had several drops. Drops have been an issue with Sadiq, too, as well, even though he's been open, Woody.
Hey, I mean,
you can't teach someone to just catch the fucking ball.
He caught the 16th overall selection. That's what he caught that perfectly fine.
Yeah, and did you not see Cooper's toe touch touchdown in the end zone? Are you forgetting that? He's got good footwork, and you're acting like you just talked about A.D. Mitchell and Garrett Wilson. Cooper is going to round out the receiver room. We talked about a 2A, 2B. We're not talking about wide receiver 1 over here. He's not going to be on the outside. He's going to be in the slot.
Hey, I'm not William Shakespeare. I didn't say 2A, 2B. That was y'all words, all right? That was y'all. For as long as I know, Adrian Smith can be a slot receiver. I don't know. I'm saying Cooper. Yeah. Hey, I got faith in AD. We know who Garrett Wilson is. Omar Cooper Jr., I feel like he just propped up good coaching, favorable situation. That toe touch, you only need 1 foot in college. In the NFL, we need 2, baby. And I know Garrett Wilson can do it. Like Sadiq, like I'm telling you right now, any drops, that was because Dante Moore was eating popcorn before he threw the football. I don't want to hear about no drops for Kenyon Sadiq. I'm telling you right now, Omar Cooper Jr., this boy is a question mark if I've ever seen one. You know that Batman villain, the Riddler, just full of question marks? That's Omar Cooper Jr. for me.
All these players are question marks. All of them are question marks. They don't have any proven success in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Sadiq looked like an exclamation point to me. I'm not sure.
And the only point, first of all, I will not tolerate Omar Cooper slander because that's my favorite pick. The only thing I agree with on you with this is, yes, he had the best coaching staff last year. And there are plays. Keyword, plays. You could go to his film. There's plays clearly where it was schemed for him to get open. Like, he made one move and he's open. But I have to disagree with you on the route running. I know, like, we talk about David Bailey having things he could expand on, and Sadiq. I know Omar Cooper can expand on his route tree, but that is almost any receiver coming from college to NFL. You're going to change your route tree based off the you're not seeing the same defenses at college you're seeing in the NFL. So route trees are expected to change. So that's something, if I'm looking at any receiver, I'm knowing that the route tree will probably expand on. But for me, when I watch Omar Cooper tape, I do see footwork. I do see ability to get open. I mean, I could just think of 2 plays off the top of my head right now against Oregon where he's got a press corner on him, and I think one was a speed out and one was a bow route. He completely diced the corner, and Oregon's got some top corners in college football. So that's just 2 off the top of my head, no film in front of me, like that I vividly remember when Indiana played Oregon. Now, I'm not completely disagreeing. I know in terms of, all the other receivers we've seen, he doesn't have the best, route tree, like you said. And the ability to get open, like you said, is not something you could teach, and is something you do have to have. I think he has some of it, like you said. I don't think it is maybe the easiest thing to teach, but as Abby included, he's not going to be on the edge on an island. You know, he's not on we're not looking at him as a receiver one on the outside. We are expecting you to come in and be a slot receiver. And what did he do at Indiana so well? Be an efficient slot receiver who got schemed to get open. But even plays he wasn't schemed to get open, he had the ability to get open with his route running. So I do. And my whole thing with Omar Cooper Jr., I think he's got elite hands. Like we talk about Sadiq with the drops. Omar Cooper Jr. has elite hands. I mean, you talk about that catch against Penn State. I've seen a couple contested deep catches that he had at Indiana. Like, I think he has great hands, and I do think his route running can use some work. But, I mean, for that falling into our hands at 30, I mean, we gave up a fifth-round pick for that. I don't see much of a complaint here for me. And as you said, every pick is a question mark. You know, like you said, Sadiq could be generational, but we could be back here 5 years from now, and Omar could be generational. So, like, these all are question marks. And all these things that we talk about the other day could mean nothing because they could go out there and stink. You know, Arian Smith supposed to be the next speedster, and I couldn't even see him catch one deep ball. So we talk about stuff like that. Sometimes it just doesn't translate. But from what I've seen in the game, I think Omar Cooper can be what we need him to be. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, he's the next big thing, receiver one. But I need you to be a decent receiver to be in the slot, and I think he can do it.
Perfectly said. And yeah, I just want to chime in here. I just think he's going to fit in with Reich's system. Reich also likes quick throw passes, and that's what I feel like Cooper is going to be good at. So
yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not I'm not saying it's the worst pick, you know, ever made. But it is the worst pick made last night.
I will say too, I feel like we got him in an accurate spot because I was looking at him at 33. So pushing up to 30, I don't know the conversations they're having with other teams. Maybe someone else was going to take a swing on him and he wasn't going to be available. So that I also think we got him at a good spot too. I didn't want him at 16 because like we said the other day, I talked about this. I felt like there was a huge drop off between it was like for me, Tyson, Lemon, and then it kind of was a drop off from there. And so I just feel like we got him at a good spot. I'm glad we were a little aggressive to get him, but it's not too far off from where I thought he would potentially go.
That's an extremely good point because I cannot lie. Cooper at 16, I would have been mad at. I would have been
mad as shit.
Yeah. And but think about this: if the Jets drafted 16, you know Sadiq would not have been on the board at 30. Just think about that. So that's what I'm telling you. The value that we got. Real quick before we get to our last topic, I know we kind of went over time a little bit, but the quick thing I wanted to address before we get to our last topic, yo, boss girl, come on now. This is not only is this mean, you know what I'm saying, but look at the report card. I'm gonna take this comment down real quick. I give up the only A+. I'm the only A. You know what I'm saying? Like I am definitely positive. You know, first of all, for me, it's never about positivity or negativity. It's about what is going on, right? It's real versus, you know, hope and projection and fantasy. Like we talking about the real, and the real is that the New York Jets had a very, very good draft. We all agreed. I know you came in late, so you didn't get to hear us, you know, in the first. But come on, all you had to do to figure out that question was to look who is the only person to give it A. Who's the only person to give it A+? And guess what? I gave both. Come on now.
Hey, we will not be tolerating Woody slander on here, okay? I will take that comment.
Hey, C's get degrees. That's all I know.
C's get degrees. I like that. Oh my God! But if my son uses it on me, I'm gonna have to beat him up. But
Woody, you are talking about like, oh, I'm the only one who gave an A+. I'm the only one who didn't get a C, or didn't give anyone a C. You both did.
Hey,
mine was warranted.
You
almost had Cooper failing. You might as well give him a D+. It was a C-, like a 70.1.
And my C was a C+. You were at the C- like rank.
Exactly.
Maybe dipping into a D.
Damn. Okay. All right. I'm not saying none of us have been like we all high on the draft. That's what I'm saying. We was all high last week. Call us Snoop Dogg because we all high. All right, that's what I'm saying. You know, there's not a lot of bad to say. If anything, I can't even think of anything really to say. But now, moving forward, right? This is our last topic of the show. We got pick 44, right? We had 33, and we moved. I love that trade. Like that's the value, and that's my goddamn emoji. The value of that trade was amazing. But now 44, looking ahead. I think Abby, it was you who said it already. Like, you know, we're thinking, you know, corner. There's still a lot of very good corners on the board right now. I cannot lie. I am looking at corner or linebacker. Like, if it's not one of those two, I'm gonna need an essay from somebody to let me know why they chose MLA format. I need somebody to let me know why we chose something else. I've been seeing a lot of guard love. Guard is like really the only other one that like is kind of acceptable. But like I really feel like Tippmann, like I like Tippmann as at guard. To get a guard is to say Tippmann's back at center. But I like Tippmann at guard. I think his ceiling is higher at guard. Parham, you know, who we just got, is an upgrade from John Simpson. I know there's not a lot of great centers, so that's why we're not going there. Josh Myers is fine. Like, you know, is he the best? No. But is he the shits? No. So I'm kind of cool with the guard. Knowing that we have 44 and then we don't pick for a long time, I'm definitely looking at linebacker and corner. Abby, we'll go with you. Like, you know, you said corner before. Is there anything else you looking at?
No, just a corner, or like just honestly, I'd be fine with any defensive player. There's a couple good linebackers and safeties on there. Again, at this point, I feel like some of it we're mainly focusing on adding depth to the roster, and those are all pieces on defense that I think you need backup options there. So that's where I'm going. I quite frankly wouldn't like a guard here. I think you can hold off. Again, maybe a hot take, but if you want to take a swing on a quarterback, go ahead. But I don't think you need to here. There's too many good defensive players still on the board that you have to automatically go with one of those, in my opinion. So I'm with Boss Girl here. It's a good that's a good summary.
Just like for, you know, before the draft, I said Arvo Reese or nothing. Now for 44, it's Colton Hood or nothing for me. I was even willing to take Colton Hood at 16. I'm not even kidding. So I've been high on Colton Hood since before the draft. I think he's insane. And okay, great comment. I think Colton Hood or the linebacker from Texas Tech, Rodriguez. Those, if I see either one at 44, I'll take it. But if we're going corner, I hope Colton Hood's there at 44. I mean, I'm shocked that he even made it out the first round, in my personal opinion. I didn't think he would even be here for day two, but that's where I'm at. I think Colton Hood, you add some depth in the corner room, or Rodriguez is a playmaker at linebacker. He's shifty. So, like you said, too many good defensive players. I don't think this is where you take the swing at quarterback. So, or guard. I think it's should be between a corner or linebacker easily.
All right, well, damn, you know, we went from yelling at each other to now kumbaya. You know, talking about with the corner and linebacker. I can't lie, like Colton Hood, I agree. I was shocked to see him fall out the first round. And you did say it, like you said it when we were talking about 16. You was like, "Yo," like, so yeah. I'm shocked to see him here at this time for sure. There was a comment, Boss Girl. You know, definitely looking at CJ. These three linebackers. This is like my big three right here. Like Hood would be nice. And then these three, I would say like that's my four. You know, I came in last night talking about number 2. I have 4 names. These are my 4 names: Colton Hood, CJ Allen, Jacob Rodriguez, Anthony Hill Jr. That's my 4. Low key, Malachi Moore. I like Malachi Moore. And with safety specifically, like if it's not more, like Dane Belton was good for the Giants. Like every Giants person that I spoke with was like, damn, like y'all got him, like take good care of him, you know, like for real, like they, you know. And then Cisco, yeah, we don't need him starting, but you know, he's also there. So I like that room, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I really do. So a safety, I wouldn't be like mad, but I'd be like, damn, like But after what I just said about tight end and like, becoming a master of something, like how I can't contradict myself and then be like, damn, y'all took a safety. Because now, we have, an elite safety room. But I think, I'm happy with safety, but I just want that linebacker. We don't know the future of Sherwood. But we know that right now we have a limited window of Demario Davis, and I need that young pup, the young pup, to learn under big dog Demario. So like I need that, and I think 44 is a perfect time. We'll see if people start, sliding. If there's a run on a position, right? Maybe they need to trade up, but I don't even know if we have the assets to do that low key. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Can I pose a hypothetical real quick? Because obviously this didn't happen, but it was looking that way for a minute. If Bane was on the board at 16, would you have taken him?
That's a question. I'm not gonna lie. I saw it too. I did see it at 15 or at 14. I was like, oh shit, like Bane's still on the board. And then, he went the very next pick. But I was like, yo. I'm not gonna lie, you know me. I was okay with taking him at 2, right? Like just like Michael's logic, right? I was okay taking him at 16. Now if he's there at 44, how the hell am I not gonna take him? It's like that exact logic. Copy and paste it. Yes, I would take Bane. I would send Will McDonald to be a Wendy's shift operator, and now we got Bane and Bailey. Are you kidding? Like, yo, bro, that would have changed my life.
If that happened, I 100% taking him at 16, and after that pick is in, I'm on the phone trading Will McDonald that moment for a receiver.
Oh
then,
my God.
Use the 16th pick, so moment that pick's in, Will McDonald's off my team.
Yes.
I probably would have taken him too, quite honestly, and because our defense used to be, I feel like, our identity, and we're trying to get back there. So that was my logic behind it, but it worked out the way that it did, and I'm glad we got 2 offensive weapons. Good with me.
That offense, I'm like on paper, like seriously, because I got roasted when I said this to my high school group chat, but they also don't know who Kenyon Sadiq is, so maybe I shouldn't be taking advice from them. Seriously, on paper, like is there a hole on offense? I'm not saying like it's the best team in the NFL or we top this or whatever, but is there a hole on offense?
It's the best Jets offense since 2015. I think that's pretty evident, at least to me. I can't see one hole.
Chill. Come on now.
Yeah, he's not garbage. Like you said, he's not great. He's not great, but he's not in the dump. He's like the middle.
I really don't think there's a hole, and that's like when I went to sleep. Like that was like my last thought. Like, go head on the pillow. I was like, wow. Like I really don't think there's a hole.
There's not a hole. There's some question marks there, though, for sure.
I mean,
look at our quarterback for starters, bro.
Okay. All right, yeah. That's not
the foundational piece is questionable. That whole quarterback room is questionable.
We need to have faith in Geno Smith. You need to believe in the Geno Smith deep ball. I'm telling you.
I am now. I feel like, Michael, you've hyped me up about it. And now that we have receivers, I'm like, you're not saying they're going to catch him, but he's going to air it out to them. And you're just hoping that...
Like I said, I don't know if it'll turn into turnovers or touchdowns, but it will be aired out, and we have receivers to hopefully go get it. What happens in between, I can't control.
Mm-hmm. See, and Dano's like me with the depth holes. That's kind of where I was too. There is still like depth holes in my opinion, but not an actual true hold as far as like a starting lineup. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm there too, but I'm
traumatized. I think some of me is like I want to be so excited, but then I'm like, no playoffs in 15 years and just whole new everything, and I'm like, and then Woody, you're over here like wanting Mike Tomlin for next year. I got some of those comments yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just traumatized. I got a little PTSD.
Hey, we like this comment said. This is the See, now I might be going like too hype train, but
You are. I can just already feel from your energy when you're about to say.
We're always, you're talking about the defense identity. Well, what's to say we can't switch it up and be an offensive identity team, you know? Geno Smith, the greatest show on the turf, back in New York. A.D. Mitchell's the next big thing, you know? Like you said, question marks, but I'm going to trust in Geno Smith until he breaks my heart again, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if I know what you're saying, to be honest. I don't trust bro. Dane, Dane is my guy. I be going on the Danger Zone Friday nights. Might even be going tonight. We'll see. But Parham, he better than John Simpson. He is, but like Chris Collinsworth told me, not personally, but through his website PFF, that Dylan Parham is better than John Simpson. Geno, yeah, of course, yeah. Geno is reckless, but he will air it out though, and that's I do like see the value in like he's gonna give receivers a chance. So why not get receivers? And that's what we did. Even though this guy stinks, and you guys are hyping him up, but okay, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think the offense, in my personal opinion, doesn't have like a hole. It has depth, issues, but the defense, I really think could be shored up. So I'm looking at those 4 names: Colton Hood, and then the others. Y'all remember them? Or my 4 that I'm trying to see at 44. And you best believe if Ruben Bain Jr. was on the board at 16, I would have called him myself. It's just been like, oh, you think Dog Man? Yo, I would have dropped the line right there, the line for Dark Knight. Come on now. But yeah, that's where we're leaving it. And tonight, let's go Jets. We'll see if they would you. So because there's that huge gap. This is actually my last question. I'm sorry, Abby. I'll let everybody go. But last question, 44. Are you open to trading down because of that huge gap between 44 and the next pick?
100%. I would think. Okay, let me reword that. If Colton Hood is not on the board, I'm trading down. If Colton Hood's on the board, 44 to the Jets. But the only way I think it would make sense is like as of right now, before day 2 starts, there's a handful of defensive players that I think can make immediate impacts. So, in my opinion, if you get around 40 and you still have, a good 7-8 defensive players that you think can make that immediate impact, if you could put a trade package together where you drop down to maybe like 52 and like 70 or something and give up that 44, then I think you're looking at that 52 or whatever, or the 50 range could be a potential starter depth piece, and then that 71 could be a swing, maybe like a risk taker. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only way I being worth it. Like you said, we have the pieces to do that, put the trade if teams are going to even offer something like that. But if Colton Hood's there, I don't think it's too complicated. I think you go get him, and you have depth at DB.
For me, I think you touched on it a little, Michael. It depends who's on the board. Quite frankly, and we're going to have to see how it shakes out. A lot of the players I have my eye on, I don't know if they're going to be available at 44, to be really honest with how things are looking. I wouldn't say I'm not open to it, so again, just seeing who's on the board and then we'll see how it shakes out. But there's not, like Michael said, that impact player there that you want. You could go ahead and trade.
Yeah, and I think that's I think we kind of all in lockstep with what Keep It Simple RC is saying right here. Like if like the guy you want, right? Like I said 4 names, Michael has 1 name, Abby, you have your names. If none of those names are there at 44, then what are we talking about? Let's trade back and kind of play that game. But if your guy is there, go get him. All right, that's what they be saying. And yeah, I think that's where we're at. Got a question from Boss Girl here, thinking about taking the best center in the draft. We just established, I feel like, that we think Myers is the weakest of the 5.
Yeah.
At 44, probably not. But that's at 70. You get that 52 and 70, bro. In the 70s, come on now. I'll be out here. Yeah, let's give me that center, best center. And that's where it looks like they're going. Right, is in the third, fourth round. So I'm cool with that. And let me just check our Instagram, the live people. Yeah, shout out Brandon Bean. Optimistic, Jet Boy AB. Appreciate y'all guys. That's our first time today, or our first time ever going live on Instagram. So I appreciate that you guys have been out here commenting. Our guy Doug Colorado still in the building. My God, he's been here. He gave us the whole 65 minutes. Appreciate you. And then of course YouTube. Y'all know what it is. Please like, subscribe. Show this video some love. Share it with your people, all right? Because we are just a trio of Jets fans. We just want nothing more to connect with the community and, share our takes, share our unique perspectives, where we all come from in our walks of life. And we want to be part of that discussion. So show us some love. And who knows? Because this actually just came to be in like 20 minutes. So who knows? We might be on tomorrow. I got no clue. But we were here today. I'm glad we were able to take flight. And I'm glad that y'all were able to take flight with us.
We're going to post a report card too on the page. Leave your comments.
Please. Yes. The IG folks, come on now. Come on. We need that IG engagement. Abby, send us home.
All right. It's always go Jets, but one word, 4 letters, Jets, Jets. You already know.